Morning glory and evening grace, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Good Friday to you. I had a lot to cover today. Congressman Dan Crenshaw is coming along, Matt Continetti and Ben Domenech, Jim Garrity here for the Week in Review. We've got Tarzana Joe and Jim Talent, regulars. Of course, the Hillsdale Dialogue. There's a lot today. I'm opening, though, with a trouble of mine that is actually really low on the hierarchy of troubles. It's an irritant. But it could be much higher for other people. So I begin by telling you where I'm going to end. Flee Fidelity Investments. Simply flee them. Run. Now I will explain first the hierarchy of troubles. The lowest kind of trouble is worry. Generalized anxiety about something, whether or not rational. I worry about these teenagers I see rolling around on their bikes at 30 to 40 miles an hour doing wheelies in parking lots of shopping centers. I worry for them. I don't want to hit them. I don't want anyone to hit them. I went through a parking lot yesterday that is one of their notorious runways, and there was a fire truck, and I thought, oh my God, one of the kids got hit. That's a worry. That's very low down on the hierarchy. It's not trouble at all. It's just anxiety. Secondly, there's irritants or annoyances. That's what I have with Fidelity, an irritant and an annoyance. And I've ended it. I've gotten rid of it, but I'm going to tell you about why. It could become an actual much higher on the level of trouble. Third level up from the bottom, problems. Lots of people have problems. I currently do not have any problems. Problems typically, most obviously, illness. Chronic or acute, that's pretty obviously a problem when you're sick. Or your family member or a friend or a loved one is sick. That's a problem. And there are usually problems in every life. I've had them. I expect there will be more in my life, but you deal with them. Then there are crises. And I've had a couple of those over the years. They can be personal. They can be in your family. Could be an illness, for example, that spirals into something that looks like it could end very badly. And I don't have any crises. And then there's tragedy. We saw tragedy 2 days ago in Washington, D.C. That's a crisis that has gone to a level that cannot be remedied. All you can do is grieve and mourn and rebuild. Crises, for example, a hostage is a crisis for Israel and for the individual being held hostage. It becomes a tragedy when they're executed in the tunnel, as 6 were, and it becomes a remediated crisis when they get out, but there are lingering problems as a result. So you get it? Worries at the bottom, irritants or annoyances, problems, crises, tragedy. Now, Fidelity. I have no problems in my life right now at all. I have no crises or tragedies. I'm very aware that I'm blessed right now. Neither does the fetching Mrs. Hewitt. We've got irritants and annoyances. Fidelity, though, yesterday, 2 days ago, put me into overdrive so that I've been a customer of theirs for 30 years. Until yesterday, I had 6 accounts with them. 2 of them are significant retirement accounts through my employer that I couldn't move if I wanted to. You got to retire when you've been doing those before you can roll them over to someone else, which I will do when I finally retire. Then the fetching Mrs. Hewitt she closed it yesterday, a Roth IRA. Then I had a self-directed investment account that was not significant but not insubstantial. I used it to keep track of stocks, and it's gone to almost zero value, and I kind of knew that. Then I've got Uniform Gift Act, Minors Act, Uniform Gifts to Minors Act for my youngest son, which we opened up 19 years ago when he was a minor, and I was trying to teach him about investments. And then we had a joint account with my oldest child. And 4 of those, I just don't pay attention to. I pay attention to the 2 significant ones. Fetching Mrs. Hewitt, don't pay attention to. The brokerage account, I know it's got almost nothing in it, but I get their statements, and I am endlessly assaulted by them not assaulted. I am endlessly noticed and annoyed by them by requests that I update this or I update that or I go online and do this and go online and do that. I actually went once to their office in California to try and close all this down, but I didn't have everyone with me. Can't do it when the kid you opened up a UGMA is not with you. They have to physically be with you once they reach their majority. And the joint one couldn't do it. Fetching Mrs. Hugh wasn't with me. So I've tried a few times. I get a letter 2 days ago. Dear Fidelity Investor. By the way, it's sent to my right address in Virginia. Dear Fidelity Investor, we are writing in an attempt to contact you about state unclaimed property laws that could have a significant impact on your Fidelity account. U.S. Post Office has returned mail sent to the address referenced above. Your state unclaimed property laws require that accounts with returned mail be coded as abandoned. All right. What? What do you mean abandoned? I haven't abandoned any property. What state? What law? What are you talking about? There's 6 accounts here. So, of course, they give me a phone number. Call within the next 30 days. All right? A representative will update your account status. There's no need to conduct any transactions or make adjustments to your holdings. That's a threat. That's just a threat. 30 days. Call us. And I am very annoyed at this point. 30-year customer. They got all my information on one screen. They got the right address. They got 2 right addresses. They got a permanent and a temporary. They've got all my Social Security. They know everything about me. Some moron, some automated system sends me a threat letter. So it was a bad day anyway on Wednesday night. We had a tragedy near my home in Virginia. And I get this letter has come, but I wait for the next morning. I call early, get a perfectly professional junior staffer. And I don't want anyone to think I'm saying anything bad about the junior staffer who handled this. She has a script, and if she said, I understand you 10 times, she said it 50 times. She never said, I agree with you. It took 90 minutes for me to close 2 of the 6 accounts, one of which is going to end up after commission, which they offered to waive after they realized I pulled the old trick. Look, I'm a lawyer. And I'm a broadcast journalist, and I'm now worried about this process, and I'm going to tell everyone to flee Fidelity. Then they were waiving fees and hold on and all that stuff. I said, no, you charge the commission. You know what that one account's going to come back? I'm going to get a $2 check from Fidelity. It's about 90 minutes on the phone to get a $2 check from Fidelity. They didn't tell me what it was about, or I would say, okay, it's cheated to the state. That's a technical term. And here's what I want you to know. I'm a senior citizen, right? I have all my marbles. I have great hearing. I'm a lawyer, and I'm a good lawyer. And I know what a cheat to the state means, and I know about state property laws and abandoned property. They could have been talking about my significant accounts. I didn't even know what's in this account. So then I tried to close the United UGMA. I can't close it. Then I said, my wife's right here, but she's got to go. Can we do that one? I'll be right back in 2 to 3 minutes. 8 minutes later, my wife has left. They come back on. She can't close it. She called later in the day. Took her 40 minutes to close it. And only after she refused, as I did, to go online. They wanted me to go online and do all this. I don't have to go online. It's my money. You've sent me a threatening letter. Now, here's my worry. 5 years ago, I went to lunch with a then Deputy Associate Attorney General and the head of the elder fraud at the DOJ Criminal Division, because they asked my help in broadcasting the threats to seniors from fraudulent letters and phishing, pig slaughtering, all that kind of stuff. And I kept telling them, I'm a senior, but I got my marbles and I can hear you perfectly well, and I'm a lawyer. Do you realize what you could do with someone? We just found out yesterday we have an acquaintance who has the beginning of early onset dementia. Let's just say, I finally asked this nice junior staffer, do you have parents? How old are they? And the junior staffer said they're in their 60s. He said, well, just think about this letter. It's a threat, isn't it? It's a threat you're going to let my property go. It doesn't name the state laws. I doubt that's true, by the way, that states make you code anything as abandoned property. And I just want you to know, this could scare the daylights out of a senior citizen, and it might lead them to fall for phishing and scams, of which there are many that come in on texts and phone calls. So here's what I'm here to tell you. Get out of Fidelity. Run away from it. It's run by machines now. that generate stupid letters that threaten people. I've been their customer for 30 years. They got all my information. The automated Fidelity Investments is not worth your time. Run away from them. And make sure your parents do not freak out. And instead, they get very, very belligerent with an irritation, because what is an irritation to me could be a problem or a crisis to a senior who has any kind of disability. And I want you to think about people in your life whom this letter would freak out. I'm Hugh Hewitt. I'll be right back.